Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I pray that you're having a blessed Wednesday. God is an incredible God every single day of the week. But this is Hump Day. We're midway through the week, and I this was something that I really wanted to post yesterday. It was one of those days. But I did not want to lose sight of it. So I wanted to go ahead and post today. And this morning has been not bad, but busy. So that's why I'm a little late posting now. But anyway, so my nugget for today is: have you taken time to retrace God in the midst of your testimony? Have you taken the time to retrace God in the midst of your testimony? It is amazing that the Word of God in Revelation said that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Why is that? Because the word of our testimony is so powerful when it goes before us. It literally, the word of our testimony precedes us and brings favor to our life. I can prove it. I can prove it in the scriptures. If you go to, I believe it's Second Kings, for the story of Elisha and the Shulamite woman. Remember, there's a passage in there, and I haven't looked it up, so I'm doing this from memory. But there's a passage in there where the Shulamite lady winded up having to leave her belongings and her land and go elsewhere because of the famine. And when she came back, her neighbors and different people had taken over her land. She did not go to Elijah to, or Elisha, I'm sorry, she did not go to Elisha to rectify this. She went to the king. And in the midst of her going to the king, before she got there, Gehazi, who was Elisha's servant that winded up with leprosy because he followed after Naaman to get money and goods when Elisha had said no, which is, there's a whole lot of stories there. It's a deep thing. But anyway, God so had it and orchestrated it that he was sitting telling the king stories of Elisha, the different um, testimonies of Elisha and different miracles and stuff that Elisha had done. And just at that appointed time, this is amazing. He was telling the king about the Shulamite woman and her child and all of what had transpired between she and Elisha. And at that, right after then, she shows up to plead with the king about her land that had been unfairly confiscated by neighbors and what have you. Now, this is really, really deep because at that moment, Gehazi said to the king, "This is the woman that we have been speaking about. This is the woman that I was telling you about. This is the Shulamite woman." And because of the story and the testimony of what had transpired with Elisha and her, the king demanded his servants to make sure that everything was returned to her, and not only that, all of the profits that the land had yielded over the time that she was gone was commanded to be given to her as well. It's a really deep story. You gotta go look up the Shulamite woman in Second Kings. But what it triggered within me is how her testimony went before her and brought favor unto her. And then when we connect that with revelations that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, it just ties all in together. And so I just want to ask you, have you went back and have you traced your testimony and how God has intervened in your life and how that intervention, the testimony of the power and the favor of God on your life, how that can go before you and bring favor to you. It's really deep. It's amazing. I'm gonna have to teach on it. I'm gonna have to do a sermon and really, really deep down teach on it because God was just really dealing with me on it. Night before last, I was just sitting up and I was thinking about different stages of my life and how God had so orchestrated to have people in position to favor me. Even though I went through life thinking that I was all alone, thinking that I had this survivalist mentality, that if I didn't do it, it didn't get done, thinking that I could not trust or depend on anybody, that was my mindset. But as God started to deal with me about different times in my life and the people that He had specifically in position to favor me, no matter what my enemies around me were trying to do to me, my haters, as you would call them, or whatever, it did not matter because God had people always, always in a higher position than they were, and those people would favor me. And I was like, wow, Lord, I hadn't thought of it like that. And so it was an amazing thing. And as I thought about it, it was like that's a testimony in itself. That is a testimony and a testament to the power and the goodness of God, to the power and the goodness of God in my life. So I'm saying all of this to say to you, take the time to just go back and think on and meditate on, and then be grateful for the testimonies that God has given you in your life. Okay. All right. I'm over my 5 minutes. I'm 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay. So that's it. That's my nugget for today. You have a fantabulous day. Be blessed of the Lord. God willing, I'm gonna try to get back on here tomorrow. I got a travel day tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to get on here in the morning before I set off to the airport. Okay. All right. I love you with the love of Christ. You already know you can't do a thing about it because that is eternal. You be blessed. Bye bye.